Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match reaction for Bayern Munich versus Manchester United. 4-3 to Bayern Munich. And I don't really know what to think about this yet. I haven't let it kind of settle, but disappointing result, of course. But look, we're back for another match reaction. And we've got Ben and Chris joining us as well, two channel members. Any channel members that are watching as well, guys, as always, if you do want to join, the link is on the community tab of the YouTube channel. Go hit the link, get involved. Anybody wants to become an official member of the channel, link is in the description first, so you can check it out that way. But guys, anyway, look, getting straight into it. Obviously, I had my say throughout the watch along. What did you make of it? Go on, Chris. You lead us away there.
I mean, at first glance, I mean, seemed to play well. I mean, but then as the game progresses, we just tend to just fade away. Like, we start off well. We started off with good possession, had a chance. You know, like you said, Alphonso Davies came through. Palestri made a tackle. Okay. But then after that, it's just like no real chances after that. And yeah, we have possession, but no real threats. You know, after that happened, it's sad to say, like you mentioned at the end of the game, that Reguilon is probably our best player. You know, played the best, and that's a loan move that we got at the last, at the end of the window. And I mean, we're just not playing. You know, Palestri really didn't get a chance. Didn't play through his side much. You know, I mean, I don't even know what side we played through because Rashford didn't even have much chances to go down the wing and do a lot of things. So it's like we don't move as a group. Like, if Rashford gets a ball out on the wing, he's all by himself out on the wing. And then he takes a couple touches, then he has to turn back, and then everybody comes. It's like we're not moving. We're not moving well. We're not moving as a group, and it's troublesome. And then when what our real problem is right now is that, I mean, Rashford's okay. Besides Rashford, the front line is we're getting, like, our midfield is just getting run. Like you said, everybody tracking back. Casemiro didn't track back. Bruno didn't track back. Eriksen didn't track back. You can't put that on the center backs because they have to cover runners coming from the backside. They can't pop out and just leave the 6-yard box open. They have to stay within their line, and that has to be the midfield that's tracking back on that first goal. Like, that's, I mean, and we're not, and I don't know why we're not. Does no one have any legs at all?
Like, but Ben, let me put it to you, like, because I'm making notes here, kind of as the game goes on, and I kind of just towards the end, I said, was it actually a good performance? You know, with a question mark, and I think it can be interpreted both ways. But what do you make of it yourself?
Yeah, we did play well in parts, didn't we? It's just game management, isn't it? You know, when we didn't have the legs, why are we not just sitting back? You know, I have 5 minutes, lads. You don't move from there. You don't move from there. Right, now let's go again.
Yeah. And do you think that's down to maybe inexperience, or because we have got a lot of experience within the team?
Yeah, there's experience in there to do it, isn't there? It should be the experienced players that are turning around and saying, right, you stay there and don't move there for 5 minutes. Casemiro should do it, really. Shouldn't he? Palestri, you come and sit here. Rashford, you sit here. We'll have 5 minutes, have a breather, and then we'll go again.
Yeah. Because, look, I mean, like, I don't think it was a terribly bad performance out of Manchester United. No. Like, I think personally, like, I think for the first 20 minutes, we were probably the better team. You know, up until the Onana mistake and Bayern's first goal, which, look, is inexcusable. But look, he might not make another mistake for 4 years, you know, and he's getting a couple of them out of the way and now early. And if that's the case, okay, all well and good. But I think it's a little bit too early to be, you know, throwing him under the bus. But I think up until the time that they scored the goal, I thought we were well in that game. We should have had a penalty, by the way, at the start, in my opinion. But, I mean, you're always going to go to the likes of these places and, you know, like, you're not going to dominate the majority of the game. You're going to be backs to the wall for an awful lot of it. if we're going off of, because obviously it's a defeat tonight and it was a defeat on the weekend against Brighton, but the performance levels are night and day, in my opinion.
I agree.
Now, in particular parts of the game. But Chris, what do we need to do to, I suppose, keep the performance levels in certain parts of the game, but control other parts of the game? Or not control, but maybe limit opposition teams when you're going to have them spells that you're not on top. I
go back to something that, I mean, you mentioned when in the watch along and stuff like that, and on the fourth goal, I think it was, Bruno gave the ball away on the side. It's just, I have never seen Bruno play more one-touch soccer in my life than he has recently, because our midfield does not hold the ball for possession.
And that was something that was actually getting out, that Ten Hag looked like he was getting out of his game last season.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, but it's not just, I mean, a lot of times, like we saw last season, like he's trying to play these one-touch 40-yard balls across and flips and tricks and this and that. But the problem is that nobody in our midfield is being a commander in holding the ball. Like if you watch our possession, it's by the center backs and by the defenders. Our midfield does not hold the ball at all. We don't have possession. Like it's as soon as if Bruno gets it, he's on the wing. Or, we never have possession in our midfield in the middle of the park. And that, I think that's a problem. Like I think, like if every time we swing the ball across, yes, we're playing a high line in the center backs are coming forward and we're swinging the ball that way. But when do we ever swing the ball with our midfielders? I haven't seen it in a while. And I think we're like non-existent there. And I think that's the problem, because when we're not swinging the ball, everybody's away from the middle of the park. And then everybody's got to retreat and make recovery runs to the middle of the park. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Is I don't want to be singling them out, but maybe Eriksen a big problem with that?
I think so. I mean, I was hoping Amrabat would be back, but I mean, I think he is, or I don't know and this is, we don't know what the directions are from the manager and everything like that. It's like, is he telling people to vacate, or is he, because it's like vacate, go out and help the guys out wide and everything like that. But I mean, you watch other teams. I mean, just watch Brighton. Their midfielders, Pascal Gross, who is their holding midfielder in that game, scores a goal because where is he? He's inside the 18-yard box in the center of the park. When do you see Bruno there? When do you see Eriksen there? Or Casemiro, when he was there, he just scored 2 goals at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't understand why we have wingers and then all of a sudden we take our center mids and we throw them out to Bruno's constantly getting the ball in the corner of the 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a problem. I mean,
yeah. Let me go down through some of the comments here. How do we eliminate the individual errors, says Oshin? Do we drop half the team? Well, I think with the injuries that we've got, I think we can't even afford to drop a quarter of the team. Niall says, Bayern were in cruise control. They could have slaughtered us if they were on it. Scoreline makes it look like we played well. I would slightly disagree with that. I think for large parts of the game, I thought we frustrated them, especially in the opening 20 minutes. Derek says, Eriksen is done. If Ten Hag keeps starting him, he needs to take the blame for it. Oshin also then says, we played well in fits and bursts, but it's all too regular these days. The heads drop. No confidence in the ability to get a goal back. Eriksen is not a starter anymore. He's a finisher to come on and put a foot on the ball and slow the game down. Ben, I'm going to go to you on this one, but 14 goals conceded in 6 games. What do we need to do to fix that?
It's just manage the game again, though, isn't it? You just got to, when you're not playing well, just regroup. Just get your basics right, like the mistakes that everybody's making. How do you stop it? If an individual makes a mistake, they make a mistake.
Yeah.
But there's no cover there, is there? If we're never playing poor, just get behind the ball and just have 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think there is a lack of maybe communication between the team? Because, all right, okay, maybe Lindelof doesn't really strike me as maybe too vocal. Now, Martinez probably is very vocal, but in a kind of a fuck you, you know,
Yeah.
rather than, you know, composed organization. And Casemiro probably doesn't even speak English yet. You know what I mean? So you think that might have an issue?
Yeah. It's same as that, though, the second goal when people were saying the midfield. Did you see where Martinez was? He could have been out on him.
Yeah.
He was stood next to Reguilon, weren't he? And Reguilon was marking a player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it is the midfielder's fault for not getting back, but why is the defenders not pushing over?
Yeah. Yeah. Chris?
I mean, I get Ben's point, but I mean, it's, you know, if Reguilon's on a marking someone, if he leaves, then you vacate even more space right in front of Onana, you know. And I get it. I mean, but I think it does come down to communication. Where last year we were very compact, you know, like our center back pairing and our midfield two were very compact, you know, and I think somehow we're not getting that compact anymore, and maybe this is a nod to Varane, and Varane being the glue that keeps everybody in place, because like everybody talks about, he's the Rolls Royce. Well, if he's communicating, saying, hey, Casemiro, you need to be here, Martinez, you need to be there, and, you know, and if he's putting people in the proper positions, then it's a nod to him, you know, because like you said, Lindelof doesn't look like he's the most vocal or leader, you know, like one step forward kind of guy. And like you said, Martinez.
Sorry, I'm reading Nushin's comment here. Can we play 2 in the net? We have 3 goalkeepers on the bench. Might be a bad tactic. Is it against the rules playing 2 goalkeepers? I don't think it is.
But I mean, I just that's the other thing. I'm like, of all the things that we have, why do we have 4 goalkeepers going on a UCL game?
Yeah, well, I think that just goes to show the lack of depth that's in the squad at the moment with all of the injuries and.
But you can't pull up a Will Fisher or Reece Bennett or somebody just to take them there. I mean, I'm not, because 3 of the goalkeepers aren't playing. So even if you bring a younger guy to understand what it is to be there for the match and see how it is, I mean, that's an experience in itself.
Yeah.
So like 3 goalkeepers, like. No, I don't understand that. But I mean, we're not compact, we're not communicating. Maybe it's Varane, I'm hoping it is, and then you know, kind of move forward from there. But you know, it's
Aaron says, I think the quicker we can bring Amrabat in, the better. As I said before, our defense needs so much protection. The defense is not good enough. Injuries obviously don't help. Yeah, I understand Aaron's point there, but it kind of baffles me a little bit at how solid we were last year with pretty much the same defense and midfield. Now, I don't know, maybe it's the teams that have figured this out. I don't know, but I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. Oshin says, we're missing Varane's calming influence back there. Varane is the talker there, keeps them all honest. He also says, I think that's Eric Ten Hag's 2 fingers to the board. Look what I have to do because of how you fucked up the summer. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Cottle says, midfield is shy boys. Amrabat and Manu needed desperately. Yeah, now look, it's a common theme with United fans that players that are not available seem to be better. You know what I mean? The players that we have, you know. Now that could be down to, of course, the fact that players that are currently available are not performing well enough. But I certainly wouldn't be, you know, where I think Kobe Manu is going to get time, and he's certainly a brilliant talent. I don't think he's going to be someone that we're going to have to hang our hat on. You know what I mean? But I understand where Cottle is coming from there with you know, with giving us more depth.
I think Aaron said, I mean, you got to look at Manu. I think Manu brings a Tchouaméni or Camavinga kind of aspect to the midfield where it's young and he's fluid and he's very mobile, and I think that's something that we lack.
Yeah. Absolutely. Aaron says, we need a huge, strong centre-back who is going to dominate and kick everyone's arse. United are used to it. Vidic, Rio, going all the way back, had a dominant centre-back. Yeah, and I think the likes of Kim Min-jae playing for Bayern tonight. Look, albeit they did concede 3 goals, but you could just see them he's a fucking animal, you know. And then Upamecano is not a small man beside him either. So
No,
yeah, you know,
that boy it's Lukaku, but defense.
yeah, but they can, you know, they're able to play as well, in fairness to them. Oshin says Manu won't be a starter this year and maybe not even next year, but he's a body, which is what we need. John says if a sale went through in the next month or so, I'd be worried for Ten Hag's job. From what I've seen tonight, I'd agree with Niall. The 3 goals flattered us. You're not going to get me to say a bad word about Erik Ten Hag.
No.
I'm going to disagree with everybody who does, and that's okay. I respect everybody's decision, but Erik Ten Hag last season worked miracles with a very shallow squad. Okay, this season hasn't started well. Injuries were all over the place. I mean, you think about it. Luke Shaw should be in that game tonight. Aaron Wan-Bissaka should be in that game tonight. Varane should be in that game tonight. Amrabat should be in it. Mount should be in it. Anthony and Sancho should be in it for other reasons. You know, I mean, you're talking 8 players that are potentially starting, you know, that are not available. So I'm in no hurry to be talking about Erik Ten Hag. Now, one little bit of criticism, and I'll go to you on this one first, Ben, in relation to Ten Hag, is something that I noted throughout the game, and it's something that's coming up in the last few weeks. Is he too slow to make substitutions?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Everybody knows, don't they? It's just weird how he does it, because everybody calls it and then it's like, oh, we need to make a change now, like 15 minutes later. Ericsson, for example, he was dead, 10, 15 minutes before he went off.
Yeah.
But back to your point, you really want to put McMuffin on 10, 15 minutes earlier because he's awful? I mean, I think if we had a full squad, I think changes would come earlier and more often.
Well, I agree with you on that one, because we have seen, say, last season and even during preseason this year, that he tends to make his substitutions on the 60-minute mark. And ever since we've had these injuries, that's drifted out to 70 minutes. You know, now, slight little criticism on today's substitutions would be at 70 minutes, he made the change for Scott McTominay to come on. I would have brought maybe Hannibal on instead, because we were 2 goals down at that stage. Now, I understand you're bringing on a very raw, very, you know, I suppose inexperienced kid, basically. And maybe if we were chasing the game with 10 minutes to go and we were a goal behind, you could maybe throw him on, or so on and so forth. But I just think he's hampered by the injuries that we have and the lack of depth that's on the bench, let alone within the starting 11.
I agree. I mean, if Hannibal's not able to play, then why is he there? And I mean, let's be honest. Like, he came on for Brighton, and I'll be honest, when he came on for Brighton, I kind of went like this and was like, oh, here we go. But then he scores, and he breathes life, and it's just like, well, I mean, now every time McTominay comes on, I go like this. But like, it should be. I thought Hannibal should have came on, because we're already 2 goals down. Can it get much worse at that moment? Like,
yeah,
is he that much of a liability that if he comes on, you're afraid we're going to go 4 goals down? I mean, he can come on and do what McTominay did and better. I mean, like that ball that was McTominay's first touch that you said, Jack, it's like, oh, what happens when McTominay gets the ball? Bad first touch. Right in the center of the park. I don't think Hannibal makes a bad touch there. He's shown that he can play in the middle of the park and control the ball. So I mean, I agree. I mean, Ten Hag's here to stay, and I don't agree with. I agree that maybe the subs are late because we don't have the squad, but at the same time, you can't be afraid to put these guys out there. They're in the squad. Put them out there.
Yeah,
they're never going to get experience unless you give it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek says maybe the team were playing deeper and more compact last year as they didn't feel comfortable or didn't feel confident in De Gea and his distribution. Yeah, maybe so, but I think you engage a lot higher up the field then if you're looking at the opposite of that. If you're bringing in Onana, we should be squeezing teams higher up, which I don't really think we are. But again, I said it at the start of the game. You know, I thought I thought we pressed relatively well against Brighton in phases on the weekend, but we didn't press as a team well. I think there's a huge difference, you know. Oisin says, why are so many United fans talking about Eric Ten Hag out? Is it the 20+ years of success? The only thing Eric Ten Hag needs to do is improve in-game management, quicker changes. Well, on that point, I think the majority of Manchester United talk that we're involved with me and the channel and you guys and all of that is on the internet. And who else is on the internet? Dickheads. Dickheads on the internet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it makes sense that that's where you're going to see all of this bullshit, you know. So that's why we try and keep it as. And look, people are entitled to their opinion. I mean, I'm not going to throw someone off the channel if they think that Eric Ten Hag should leave. By no means, but you're going to get them kind of, you know, fans on Twitter, fans that are, you know, maybe used to us losing more so than used to us winning, because we all still remember when United were actually a fucking good team and a good club, you know.
Well, but I mean, where all this stuff, where's the hate come from? I don't understand, because look at everything that he's had to deal with. Okay, like everything, like even everything last year with Ronaldo and Maguire, and you know Maguire not being he's the captain, but he's not the captain until he comes on the field because he's not playing, and he's dealing with all that. This season, he's dealing with spoiled rich boy Jadon Sancho, and you know Anthony has his allegations, and all of a sudden now Mason Greenwood's coming back, and he's got to deal with that. I mean, that in itself was enough to destroy a team, you know, and it's just like, and he's dealt with it and smiled and moved on, and then come the beginning of the season, like you said, Jack, what do we have? 11 injuries.
Yeah,
11 players out. That
I think we've had 14 first-team players in total that have been missing either, you know, for more than a week throughout.
So, I mean, if you did that to any other club, if you did that to Arsenal, they're not doing. I mean, nobody. And I went back and I looked, nobody has an injury like bug or list right now more than we do right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd well believe it.
Anybody in the Premier League, nobody does. So
yeah,
it's smoke and mirrors a little bit with what he's doing, and all of a sudden everybody says he's terrible. I'm like, you're basically playing your second team against first teams. What do you expect to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me get through some of these comments. Aaron says second leg could be a different story. Injured players coming back and being at the theatre. I'm going to be there.
Come on.
Yes.
Twist the knife.
No watch along that day. Oisin says there's times that Eric Ten Hag looks lost, hands in the pockets and just biting his bottom lip. I get where people are coming from with that as well, but I can also see the cogs turning in his head when he's looking down at the ground and he's going, yeah, right. I'm not fucking. I'm gonna give him a kick in the nuts on it or whatever, you know. Cottle says, Eric Ten Hag isn't immune to criticism, but wanting him out at this stage is shocking. Shiny new tie syndrome. Absolutely spot on there by Cottle. Oisin also says, I thought we kept Kane quiet aside from the penalty. We marshalled him well and kept him to long rangers. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was down to Martinez more than that. He was nearly doing a man-marking job on him, especially in the second half. He also says, I think Eric Ten Hag shouters are of a certain age and want a quick fix. Not going to happen by changing manager. Need to change a self-serving board who don't know one end of the pitch from another. And Mark looks like a new joiner, so welcome, Mark. He says, Casemiro and Eriksen were poor tonight despite the late goals. Need Amrabat in quick. Right, guys, so last little bit for you before we go. Give me one positive each tonight from the game, and then what do you want to see maybe on the weekend against Burnley? I'll go to you first, Ben.
I want to see a W.
Wait, no. Where's Ben?
He'll probably come back. There he is.
I'm back.
There's two of you. So basically, Ben, the question is a positive from tonight that you saw, and what would you like to see maybe going into the Burnley game on the weekend?
Even though we played poor tonight in bits and bobs, at least we had a bit of fight in us.
Absolutely.
At least we made the effort to come back.
Yeah.
Burnley, I think Palestri, Garnacho should start.
Rashford to be dropped.
I reckon he should be dropped. Just let him know that he can't just walk into the team.
Well, I tell you, it's an opposition that you could potentially drop him for.
Yeah.
All right, good point.
And that's why I said in the comments as well about bringing Hoyland off.
Yeah.
Let's bring him off, let Martial run around for 15, 20 minutes, and then this weekend, I'll go and let loose on them.
I get you. Chris, positive.
Positive.
Come on, there's surely one there.
I mean, I am a Hoyland fan. I mean, I love everything that he does. His movements, everything that he does. Reguilón is. Can you imagine if we didn't have him right now? Like, like Jack, you made a comment. He chased the guy he chased Gnabry, who is not a slow player, all the way across the field and made a tackle. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think Luke Shaw makes that tackle. I don't think he does. I mean, granted, and I'm not trying to dismiss Shaw, but I mean, everybody that I know that's United fan, when we got him on loan, is just like, oh, here we go, taking a Spurs reject. He's been very good for us.
Yeah.
And I like Hoyland. I think we just have to learn how to play with him. And
he scored two games in a row now. Obviously, one of them was disallowed. But
I mean, the other positive is I saw Rashford try to cross the ball and link up with him more in the 18-yard box. I didn't see Rashford taking selfish shots or anything like that. So I think it's a learning curve to play with the proper 9, and everything. But I agree with Ben. I think that you can look at the Burnley game and start Garnacho and Palestri and just say, this is game maintenance. This is, you're going to take a 45-minute rest during the season. I'm not, you haven't been playing well. Maybe your legs are a little bit long, a little bit tired. Take a rest. We can bring you on. Because, I mean, let's be honest, when he made his mishap against Wolves, was late to a meeting, he came on like a ball of fire in the second half and got the winner. So,
and as soon as you said that, ball of fire, all I just do fireball, do.
That was you at the wedding, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But no, I mean, Turf Moor is not an easy place to play. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, but I think you give Palestri and you give Garnacho their shot, and and I hopefully Varane and the question's going to be if Mason Mount's back.
Yeah. Well, look, the more players back, the better now for me at this stage. You know what I mean? And the only headache I want Eric Ten Hag to have is who can I pick, because they're all playing so well. That's the only headache we want.
I don't know. I'm going to raise an interesting question, and and I'm not slighting him by any means, but do you drop Bruno for a game if Mount is available?
Probably not, to be honest.
I mean, just because, do you limit him to a half? Or something?
That's what I was going to say. I think with Bruno Fernandes, I don't think you drop him, because you don't know what kind of game you're going to get out of Bruno Fernandes. You can get an absolute world-class player that will single-handedly win you a game, or you could just get a player that goes through the motions and lets the game pass him by. So I think taking Bruno off is probably a more reasonable argument than not starting him altogether. I think he's too good not to start. Look, when he plays bad, he plays bad, but probably 8 out of 10 performances are, either good or really good. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you. I think Reguilón was the standout for me today. I was delighted to see Rasmus Højlund getting his goal. But I think it just goes to show with Reguilón, a player who is fighting for his future. You know what I mean? Rather than Marcus Rashford, who has just signed a 375 grand a week contract. You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck how, kind of controversial that is. It's so clear to see. You know what I mean? It's so clear to see.
I don't know. I mean, Jack, agree and I disagree with you because Rashford's coming off of a season where he was asked to do everything.
Yeah.
If he doesn't score, we don't win. So now we have Højlund, coming on, not at the beginning of the season, wasn't there during preseason, didn't get a chance to play together and everything. And I think, and I'm starting to agree that maybe not the U.S. part of the tour, because I always have to have him come to the U.S. But maybe it was a little long. Maybe
oh yeah, go on. Say the Dublin game should have never happened, Jay. Go on, bring it back to Ireland.
We didn't even play the starters in the Dublin game, so no, it shouldn't have happened. So
fucking tell me about it. I paid €75 for a bloody ticket to see none of them.
I mean, let's be honest. Why did we play the first 2 games?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to say anything, you don't play the first 2 games. You start the tour in the United States, because that's what most teams did. They, like Chelsea and all the other ones that were on the American tour, they didn't start until they may have played something at home in England, but they didn't play anything until they didn't go anywhere until they got to the U.S. Yeah. So maybe it was a little long, but at the same time, like, I just think we have to have some time to gel. And I don't think, if you watch us play, we always play out here in. Nothing's in this way. We don't ever play through the middle, and I don't understand why we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, if you watch other teams, and I hate to say this, but you watch City or you watch Arsenal and everything, Odegaard and Fabio Vieira and all those guys, they're playing through the middle.
Yeah.
Do they go wide? Yes, but they can play through the middle, or Bukayo Saka comes into the middle and he does something, or Julian Alvarez. I don't know if you guys saw the game yesterday. He's playing through. Julian Alvarez is playing as a number 10 and tearing people up.
Yeah.
But he's playing through the middle. And there's more space out there, because otherwise, I mean, Jack, as a defender, where's your second defender if you're playing outside back?
He's inside me.
Well, either that or the touchline, because you force him to the touchline.
Oh yeah. I get you. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So, but you force him to the touchline, so we're defending we're helping the defense out, playing so wide all the time. Yeah. And it's just, that's my biggest problem is.
Well, that goes back to what we were saying earlier, is that, when your backs are against the wall, is just get everybody in, get you in tight. You know what I mean? Don't let them play through the channels. Don't let them play through the gaps in between, say, your fullback and your centre back, and keep it as tight as possible. You know what I mean? Let me just go through some of the last comments here. Aaron says, Højlund needs more service. As Jack said, he was playing with scraps. I think if he gets the ball more, he'll definitely know where the net is. Derek says, do you think Mount is the answer to any of our midfield problems? Some of them, absolutely. And, the more, I suppose, rotation we can get in there, the fresher we can keep it, and the hungrier you'll have, our midfielders to want to be in the team. Cottle says, Rashford's benched next week, please and thank you. Aaron says, Garnacho will provide more service into the box than Rashford does at the moment. As said before, you can't blame Rashford too much. If he wasn't greedy last season, we would have been fucked. Absolutely. Ryan says, all right, lad. Today, close game. You fought well, silence the haters. As a German, Bayern born and bred, but I love United to death. You fought so well, close game. Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for the kind words. And Aaron also says, Mount in the middle with Bruno, with Rashford wide left, might change that a little. We may be able to play through the middle a little more. He hasn't had a great start, but I think Mount will come good. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there, because my voice is about to go between being on now for 3.5 hours on the back of 2 weekends of weddings in a row, and I have another one in 2 weeks' time.
Are you kidding? Was everybody? What is it, like wedding season in Ireland right now?
We just kind of get. Well, I thought I was past it, because you get to a certain age where they all come at the one time. But so yeah, kind of just some of the younger people get, like my wife's brother is getting married in a couple of weeks, so we'll have that as well.
But that's anyway, right around the time of the baby, right?
It is. And you know what else is around the time of the baby? Me going to the Galatasaray game in Old Trafford, with everything is paid for. So,
I
don't want to start another argument. Anyway, look, guys, we'll leave it there. Appreciate it for coming on. Please smash a like on the video, guys, if you haven't. Hit share, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you want to be an official member of the channel, like the two guys here, and come on with us after every game. The link is in the description of the video. Go check it out. I'll be back again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for the Manchester United news show as usual. And then, of course, we'll be back on Saturday night again for the watch along against Burnley. Keep an eye out tomorrow morning as well. I'll be doing a talking points video, pre-recorded, 5 things to talk about tonight's game. So give it a watch as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for participating as always. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy.
See you guys.